Hello again, Internet, and today we have a vlog. I'm just going to talk about a couple topics, stuff that's happened this past week. It's been sort of an interesting week. Everything kind of happened at the same day, more or less. So today is November the 5th. It's Saturday. I'm off all day today, which usually doesn't happen for a Saturday, but it's happening on a Saturday today. So today's been kind of productive. If you want to cover today too, mowed the grass, hopefully for the last time this year. Um, did a whole bunch of laundry, cleaned a whole bunch of stuff in the house. Um, Making a video. I've been slightly productive. I got a haircut today. I've been slightly productive. Blew off all the leaves out of the driveway with a leaf blower. Fun shit. So, that's just today. So, yesterday was the 4th, and all the people that are my friends in real life that know me already know this because I posted about it on my personal Facebook account already. But yesterday marked 5 years of me being at Regal. My 5th anniversary of working at Regal. Most of that of which, as you know, is me working in Opry Mills, and I don't work there any longer. I work at Green Hills. I've been working there, I'm pretty sure it's over 3 months now, officially, whatever. So, I mean, it's no easy feat to do 5 years. I know I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna sound like I'm egotistical or something like that, but it's not really that easy to stick in one place for 5 years and be terrible. I'm not terrible. I'm just saying like it's really hard to stay in one place for 5 years when you've moved around as much as I have from job to job. And Regal has always been the one that's been the default to go back to. I've never actually left them either. It's been a consistent 5 years. So November 4th, 2011 was my first day working there in Upper Mills, and November 4th, 2016 is my 5 year anniversary, which was yesterday, and oh boy, was it an interesting day. Not for any particular reason of celebratory reasoning, but first of all, I was scheduled a 10-hour shift, which is rather weird for me, at least. Some people are like, oh, fuck you, I work 16 hours all the time, or fuck you, I work 12 hours, or fuck you, I work 10 hours all the time. That's nothing. Well, for me, that's weird, because 10 hours when you have the amount of staffing that we do is really weird. So what has happened, if you've been living under a rock or you don't know what's been going on this weekend for the movie business, Doctor Strange came out. That came out technically Thursday night, but the official release day was, I guess, well, it says on the poster the 4th. So the official release day was Friday, which was yesterday. But it was released technically the night before on Thursday night. Which I saw it that night, and I saw it at Opry Mills in IMAX, and Jesus Christ, that movie is actually really good. Even if you took away the goodness of the movie itself, the visuals alone are spectacular. Now there might be some people. I'm no professional in the visual department, but or any movie aspect department as it is, but to me, it was stunning. It was really good. And if you go see the movie, I am going to recommend this. If you are really, really easy or just easy to motion sickness at all, don't see it in 3D. At all. Don't see it in 3D. If you are like really light stomached and really just bad about that, don't even see it in a movie theater. Like, if you're that queasy real easy, that rhymed. Don't even see it in a movie theater. Rent on Redbox when it comes on Redbox. I'm just going to say that now. Because there are some scenes that will fuck with your head. And yeah, it will twist your brain a little bit. I can say that I'm not that, not that light stomached or any of that. So, you know, go watch it. If you think you're going to be good with that stuff, watch it in IMAX in 3D because that's the way it should be viewed, and it's awesome. So, anyway, that technically came out yesterday. So, my whole shift yesterday was, and this is what most of the vlog is going to be about, is my shift yesterday, if you haven't already figured this out, because all of this stuff I'm about to talk about happened yesterday. Everything before that, not a whole lot happened. So, yesterday, my whole shift was, I woke up, I had to be there at 8 in the morning, which, again, people are going to bitch. I get up at 6, yada, yada, yada. Well, I got up at 7 to get there at 8. Well, 8 o'clock for the movie theater, again, really fucking weird. Does not happen a whole lot. So, I was working an 8 to 6 shift. 10-hour shift, had to be there at 8. Already 2 weird things going on that day. And then I posted on social media about me working there 5 years. Yada, yada, whatever. So, I go through the morning. I'm getting stuff ready, correcting people's stuff from the night before, didn't close right, normal stuff. I go through, we're doing normal stuff, do my payroll packets like I'm supposed to do, and then I find out a little bit later in the day that we're opening our concession stand. Now, if you don't already know this, Green Hills, unlike Opry Mills, has a second concession stand, and it's downstairs. That downstairs concession stand almost never gets used. That downstairs concession stand is rather unsanitary. It's gotten a lot better since I started working there, but it's not the best. I'm just gonna put it like that. The upstairs Green Hills concession stand is all right, but it's not the best thing in the world. It's definitely not the worst, but it's definitely not the best either. So I find out that we're going to have people in lower concessions. So then my first thought that clicked into my mind was, wait, we're going to have people downstairs. There's no stock downstairs at all. So someone's going to have to prepare that. Yeah. Guess who was the concessions manager yesterday? This guy. So, I'm on break when I find this out, and I'm like, son of a bitch. So then, soon after that, Chris, our general manager, emails us, and then he texts me. He doesn't text the other manager. He texts me and says, hey, I don't know if you saw the email, but look at it. Do you think you can get it done? And so then the email says, can you guys get this stuff knocked out before we get busy today? And there's a list. And so a couple of the main points were receipt weekend change. So we get extra change on the weekends so we can have enough money so we don't run out. Which we had already got. It was taken care of. And then make sure everybody is, stocked up on everything, because the night before, all the expanded food like the hamburgers and the pizzas and stuff like that, they practically ran out because they were so damn busy, which for Green Hills is rare because that never happens. Opry Mills, other way around. That happens every night. But at Green Hills, they almost sell no expanded food, and it's really weird. But so he's like, make sure they're stocked up on everything. Overstock if you have to. I don't care. And I'm like, okay. And then the last thing on there was make sure the downstairs concession stand is stocked and ready to go. And I'm like, oh, Jesus Christ. Oh, sweet baby Jesus. So then I'm like, okay. I get back from break. I tell the other manager, when I get back, I'm going to start to stock this thing up. Well, I spent most of the rest of my shift because I clocked back in and I believe it was about one. It was a little after. Was it a little after one? Something like that. I clocked back in. Well, our general manager was supposed to be there at 2, Chris, and we're like, okay. So I start to do stuff downstairs. I'm cleaning little things here and there. I start bringing the popcorn seat down, all the soda bibs that had to be hooked up downstairs because nothing's hooked up downstairs. All the anything is expired, get that thrown out. Just bringing stuff downstairs. Just keep bringing it. Turn everything on. What else did I do? I was stocking waters. All that stuff, and that lasted till about and bringing candy down. That lasted till about 3 or so o'clock, and halfway through all that, Chris came in. He saw I was doing stuff. Well, as I'm hooking up these soda bibs, because there's literally there was 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There were 10 bibs I'd take down there, plus the 2 for the icing machine. And so while I'm getting all this stuff hooked up, Chris comes back down there. And we were talking about earlier in the day that we need to get more butter because someone last week didn't order enough butter, or we went through a lot of it. One of the two happened. And our next stock day wasn't until Monday. Well, Chris comes down there and he says, well, how much butter do you think we could go through? And by this time, the other manager had come downstairs and started making the drawers for everybody to put money in the drawers. So we're all 3 down there, and he's like, how much butter do you think on guesstimate we might use this, on a go, on a weekend? And then Jake said, well, about 3, maybe. I was like, yeah, it sounds about right. So he's just like, well, we have 1 jug, and 1 is upstairs. There's a half full jug down here that I just poured into the butter machine. He's like, we need more butter. And I'm like, oh boy. So he's just like, who wants to drive to Hollywood 27, which is a theater that's very close by to Green Hills. It's 2.5 miles, maybe. So he's like, who wants to drive to Hollywood 27 and get some butter? I'm like, me. Jake didn't even say anything. I'm just like, me. He says, all right. So I'm going to go upstairs. He's like, I want you to call him first, but how much do you think we're going to need? And it's like, well, to make us through to Monday, if we use 3 a day, probably 4 boxes, just to make sure. If they've got plenty, I don't know how much they have. And he's like, well, see how much they have and make sure they have the right butter. Because Opry Mills didn't have the same butter that we have at Green Hills. They have the box, and you hook it up. Green Hills has these jugs, and you pour it in the machine, and I hate them. Because they're so hard to take care of. You have to clean them every night. So I'm like, okay. So I go upstairs and I call them. They're like, oh yeah, we got plenty. Come on over. So then I go drive over to Hollywood 27 and get 4 boxes, load up the trunk of my car, drive back. By this time, because the Green Hills traffic was fucking terrible, it was about 4:30. So I get back and the entire lobby is full of people. And it's not because something bad happened, it's because they're just fucking slammed. And no one has showed up for their shift at 4 o'clock. The one person we were supposed to have downstairs had shown up on time, but the second person didn't show up. And they were supposed to be there, or no, the first person didn't show up, the second person did on time, but the first person was an hour and a half late. So, I get there and the second person, I already knew the first person was going to be late. The second person had just got there when I came back. And so everybody upstairs is busy. Well, by the time I get done unloading everything, they're not busy anymore. So I'm like, oh, okay. So then I unload everything and we're set. And then I'm starting to help them do the lower concession stand again. and then everybody's there. The first assistant by this time is there, and then the other manager that was there before me yesterday left, went home, and then the rest of the shift was just kind of getting ice. The ice machine was like frozen up in blocks of ice. It's kind of impossible to get ice out. All the soda towers had to be run a whole bunch to get all the old soda out of the lines because it was flat and there was no carbonation to it at all. We were only using 2 soda towers. Popping popcorn. We got nachos down there. We got cheese down there. We got our icing machines working and all that stuff. And that downstairs concession stand hadn't been used in, well, I've been there 3 months and I've never seen it used. Let's put it like that. And before that, I think they said it hadn't been used since the summer. And I started working in there about 2 months after that. So it's been sitting there for at least 5 to 6 months, just unused. Except for that one time we did the popper. But, 5 to 6 months unused. So, yeah, that was yesterday. And then I went home at 6. And, and immediately crashed because my arms felt like noodles. Because those Coke bibs, if you don't know, I'd say are about 15 to 20 pounds each. And, lifting about 10 of those to 12 onto a cart, pushing said cart, all the way across the lobby, onto the elevator, pushing out of the elevator, crossing the other side of the lobby, and then unloading all of them onto the racks, and then going back upstairs to get more load of shit, plus everything else that happened, kind of, it's a little bit tiresome. And then when we get all the expired stuff out, because I don't know how much of that shit we had, that was a little bit cumbersome. My arms were noodles because I had to get the butter too, and those aren't light at all, especially times 4. So it's like, Jesus Christ, because the boxes are like there's 4 jugs of them in each box. So I'm done complaining. But that was just yesterday. That was only yesterday, and then somewhere in between all that chaos that happened yesterday, right before I left to go to Halloween 27, I get a phone call from Eric, the general manager over at Providence. The theater that I possibly might be going to transfer to be full time. He calls me and the only reason I got a call from him is because I emailed him the other day asking what the hell was going on, about maybe transferring over there, what was going on. He calls me and says, "Hey, we decided to go with this other guy. His name is Steven something. I don't know what the fuck his name was. And, but I called to let you know that you didn't get the position. I apologize. Yada, yada. I'm like, okay, thanks. And they got phone. So I'm not going to Providence, for those of you who have been keeping up with that situation. But there's still 2 very good possibilities at Green Hills for me getting that. If I don't get either one of those, I'm going to be fucking mad. Because there's just no fucking reason I shouldn't get one of them. At least. I can understand not getting one of them, but the other one, not really. Because there's no one else. And I kind of figured the one at Providence I wasn't going to get. Because everybody that works at that theater is part-time. And I was assuming, well, someone's bound to want full-time that works over there. They can't all be college kids. Because if they did that, all of them are going to leave at one point and they're going to have no managers. So, that was all yesterday. So, not too much else has happened this week. I have been trying to keep up with some friends from Opry Mills, and I'm even trying to help someone fix their car right now. I don't really know how easy it's going to be. We're waiting on a part to come in right now. Because if that's not the issue, I have no godforsaken idea what the hell it could be. So he's probably if that doesn't fix it, I would probably want him to take it to the dealership, which would be Volkswagen. And yeah, so said friend, by the way, and I'll talk about this and I'll get the hell out of here. Said friend is Sean Godwin, as I know him, as some of the people on the YouTube know him as Red Plaid Star. He is doing I guess you could call it a web series. I don't really know what he's defining it as, but I'm going to define it as a web series. It's called The Trail. I believe it's going to be a 6-part or a 6-episode series. I'm not too sure. I think it might be an 8. I'm pretty sure it's a 6. And it's over on Red Plaid Star's channel. And I will post the first episode in the description. I've already watched the first episode. The first episode is 15 minutes long. Now, that's not going to be not redeeming. That's not going to be a reoccurring thing, like 15 minutes. It's going to be, like, my videos are always like 20 fucking minutes long for some godforsaken reason, but that's not going to be a reoccurring thing, as I've been told. So, go check that out. Go check his channel out, because most of his stuff is pretty good. And yeah, and he's my friend, and I'm not getting paid for it. So, that's all I can really say about that. But remember, like, comment, favorite, subscribe, like the Facebook page, be linked down below in the description. Go view out the Dailymotion channel if you would ever so like to, even though it's the same content that's on this channel. If you're viewing this on Dailymotion, go check out YouTube. A lot of my older stuff is still on YouTube, and I don't plan on transferring to Dailymotion unless I get really popular and I get a bunch of requests over there. And yeah. Also, leave comments telling me about, Dailymotion. Do you think I should continue doing it? Because it doesn't really seem to be doing anything. And it doesn't, even for popular YouTubers, like, and this is going to sound like such a shit comparison, but like, Leafy is here. Some of you know who he is. Some of you don't know who he is. Well, he has, I don't know how many millions of subscribers on YouTube. But Dailymotion ain't shit. And there's like, that place over there has like almost no comments on any videos. That's all I'm going to say about that matter. But next time I see you guys, should be a gameplay video, unless something stupid happens in between now and then. I have to make a ranting video, which I haven't done a ranting video itself in a little bit. Yeah, that. I'm also going to try my best to try to get the Dreamcast out. Maybe make some gameplay videos out of it. And we'll see how it goes. So I'll see you guys next time. Bye.